All right, just wanted to do a quick video to show how to set up the Deluxe box. All I've done so far is take the wrap off the box and open it. So we're gonna take the checklist and the rulebooks out, take out the foam piece, spacer piece, the dividers. So we'll start with these. The dividers have the symbols for the cards that they are going to separate. So this has the treasure and the trap icon. These two dividers say intro deck, monsters, and heroes, and that is for this. So the cards in here, if you wanted to add them to the box, these are the dividers for that. If you're not going to add them, you can just set them aside. Now every other set of dividers is a hero monster with the symbols for that monster group. So the heroes that are hunting these monsters, and then those monsters of that type. And then there's also one for the arsenal cards, which are the cards with the blue backs. So next we're going to look at the decks, and I'll just show you the way that I set up the box. So each deck follows in a type order and alphabetically. So the very first deck that you'll want is Adam U, and that starts on the very first monster group that I designed, which has the construct, humanoid, magical terror, and undead monsters. So these will be heroes for the hero, for the heroes to hunt those monsters. We'll set the arsenal aside. And the last card in that deck is the monk. So then the next card following it is the nerd. Then you end up with heroes that start in monster group 2, which is the desert elemental, haunted, mental, and subterranean. So those heroes continue there. So Felix continues into Freud. Then you have Lance, which is monster group 3. So these guys, so the aquatic, cavern, jungle, steppe, and swarm. And then Lance follows into, let's see, yep, the League of Online Heroes. The back of that one is Ian the Prodigy, and that continues into this one, which has the Dread, Forest, Magical, or Sorcerers, I can't remember, Swamp, and Tropical. And so then that one can use into John Zick. The back of that deck is this group. The Burrow, Garden, Vegetable, Volcanic, and Wing. So Ronan continues into Sentinel. Now we get into the monsters. So it's all the heroes first, and then all the monsters. So Chompadile continues over to, let's see, I believe it is Stabalope, into Sea Devil, into Goliath Snail, into a treasure, Captain's Hat, into the ship's helm, and then that has the arsenal cards as the very last. So this is the order of the decks. So all you'll do is unwrap each deck and separate them. So these are all heroes in the same group, which, like I said, is this group. So they are just stacked together. Now midway through the deck that starts with Nerd is going to be heroes from the next group. So the last hero for group 1 is the Zombie Ninjas. And then the first one for the next is Aaliyah. So this is all the heroes from group 1, so I'm gonna just put them in the box. Since I'm not adding the intro group heroes to the deck, I'm gonna put these up like that. Then I'm gonna start the next divider behind those. And then I'll put Aaliyah there. Open the next pack for Freud here. So we're going to go through, and at some point these switch to the next. So once again, it's alphabetical, so you can see we're going to run out here. So Zach, the Hockey Master, is the last for that group of heroes, and then Arnold starts that group, the next group. And once again, that is the group with the heroes that hunt the aquatic monsters and so on. So we're going to open this deck and see how that runs. And you can always loop, so like this hero doesn't hunt any monsters, so it's not obvious what group he's in. But the hero on the back you can see, and they'll always be, sorry about that interruption, they'll always be in the same group together. So the Whaler is the final hero for that group, and then Aiden starts the next one. So I'll put them together. So Aiden starts this, and he's on the divider. These are the Fae, the Fallen, I believe, the Giants, the Others, and the Tyrants. So I'll put that in there. And then this group actually runs all the way through to Warlord Wally in the same deck. He's the last hero for that group. And then that starts the heroes that are hunting the swamp monsters with the Albatross. So I'll put that divider in. And then John continues that group. And we get to Z as the last hero for that group. So I'll put those together. And Khan is the first hero for the next group. And you can see on the back, Angsty Goth Kid shows you those symbols, just like on the previous one. So somehow I have misplaced that divider. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, so that's that divider. So then that runs through to Ronin Rabbit. And Werewolf and Borg is the last of the heroes. So we'll put that in. And now we start the monsters. So the monsters for the heroes there, for the first hero group. And they pretty much just run in order through to the Reaper. So that's those guys. Then we grab the monster card with the Glacier Spirit on it. It's right there. And those run through the Crush Room and the leftovers. Now we have this group, and yeah, the Stablobe continues that deck. So I know some of the monsters get out of order at some point, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. So for instance, there are 3 jungle monsters in a row. Let's see if it's, yep, okay. So the last jungle monster was in that deck, and then the 4th one's there. So that's those guys. Feels a little thin to me. Something to know is that there are obviously 5 monster types for each group. So this is only 4 of the types. So we've got the aquatic there, the cavern, the jungle. So we're missing the swarm monsters. So they should be in this deck. And they are. They're just behind some of the Fae monsters there. So we'll toss them in. When you send the cards to the printer, I sent them all in order, but they arrange them on a sheet of 55 cards, and sometimes they add them on the side. So the order can get a little bit wonky there. Let's see where we're at here. Then we've got the Fae monsters. So there's 3 there. There's 2 giants. Yes, this is a little bit, you just have to separate them slightly. There's the 4th Fae monster. Now we've got 1 tyrant. We've got all 4 others together. Here's the rest of the giants. And then we have the rest of the tyrants. this group. So we've got 2 tropical, 4 burrow, 1 garden, 1 sorcerer, all 4 swamps. Then the remaining 2 tropical, there's the 3 magical or sorcerer, 4 dread, 4 forest. So let's see, that one's for that group. So these are in the same group. They go there, they go there. Forest goes over here and dread goes over here. So that's a complete group there. Those last couple decks are just slightly out of order, which is a little bit annoying, but it's how they are. Final 3 garden, 4 vegetable, 4 volcanic, 4 winged. That makes that monster group. Then we've got all these treasures. One of the dread treasures is the end of this deck, and one of the dread treasures is the beginning of this one. Treasures finish up here. We've got the trap treasure divider. And then we have the arsenals. So that is that. Now, something I noticed with the final version of the game is that the dividers stand up pretty close to this printed edge here, and my first divider was getting a little bit stuck every once in a while. So since I'm not including the intro deck monsters, if I stand them up like here, it keeps that edge from bothering them. And you can see it's not really touching. If the cards are slanted at all, it's not going to be an issue. But if you are pulling towards the box and then up, and there's nothing spacing here, it might cause a little snag. I think in the future, I'm going to ask the printer to run this edge down, be below the cards. It's just something I didn't know about when I had this manufactured. Anyway, that's that. As far as sleeving goes, obviously this will not accommodate the entire game sleeved. Now, the only cards that you shuffle in the game are the arsenal cards and the monster cards. This has enough room to sleeve these cards. The heroes are basically never shuffled. There's maybe 3 heroes in the game that can end up shuffling themselves into either the monsters or the arsenal deck. And when you play those heroes, you can toss a sleeve on them and do that, or you can sleeve them individually as you come find them. Fortunately, I don't know the names of them off the top of my head, or I would point them out right now. Anyway, that's that. That's how you set it up. Plop those back in if you want to put the spacer back in or not. And that is Puzzle Dungeon Deluxe. Thank you.